God is good, especially sometimes when we're not ready for it. And that's the Easter story, that at the moment that we are ready to give up, God surprises us with new life all over again. And yet, of course, the journey to that realization, wherever it meets us for all of us, is as long and winding as our paths to this moment, as dark and sorrowful as the path through Good Friday at times. And sometimes that path is crooked and it's labored, it's 2 steps forward and it's 1 step back for so much longer than any of us would like. But the celebration of Easter is about this mystery of divine grace in all of the ways that we encounter it. And yes, of course, stories like this of healing, but also kind words and brilliant moments and quiet reflections where the love of God is so evident to us that it cannot be ignored. All of this is resurrection. And today we stand in the long line of people who have followed the way of Jesus, trusting that good news is out there somewhere looking for us. And so we declare together today, Christ is risen, Christ is risen indeed. If anyone is devout and a lover of God, let them enjoy this beautiful and radiant day. If anyone is a grateful servant, let them now rejoicing enter into the joy of the Lord. If anyone has wearied themselves in fasting, let them receive recompense, for the Master is gracious and receives the last even as the first. God gives rest to those who come at the 11th hour, just as to those who have labored from the first. To the one God gives, to the other God is gracious. For Christ is risen, and not one dead remains in the tomb.
Through Lent this year, we traced 7 signs in the Gospel of John meant to shape belief. And the writer lays out these signs for all who follow Jesus after the first disciples, as if to say, I know Jesus will feel far from you, and you won't be able to picture his face or hum the songs he taught you around a fire, or know that he laughed constantly. But, says the writer of John, there are ways for you to encounter the teacher and find the fullness of life that he taught us about. When you experience the ritual of shared food and great drink, when your expectations are challenged and it is for your own good, when you are empowered to participate in healing, when you are given more than you can ever give back, when calm finds you, when you are afraid, when hope materializes after you thought it was lost for good. When any of these 7 signs happen to you, they are signs of things to come, a world that makes and remakes itself as if by design. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." If we are to be like Mary Magdalene, and you have to trust that her prominence in the gospel story demands our emulation, then we can show up today on Easter morning exactly as we are, with our full complexity. You don't have to control what happens next, or know when the pain will end, or feel that hope is even for you anymore. Bring your trauma. Blurt it out if you need to. You are welcome at the center of this story. The Bible can't do the work of belief for you. Sure, it can point the way, offer you stories and metaphors and parables, heroes, visions, and prayers, but the Bible can't do the work of belief for you. You have to live belief for yourself. You have to run toward the mystery and put the jagged pieces together. Race your friend to the truth. Push yourself to the point of breathlessness, strain, struggle. Take it all in. Now, Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They said to her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking it was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." And Jesus said to her, "Mary." And she turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Resurrection is about how your relationships, your memories, your communities, your goals, seasons, bodies will encounter death, but then find new beginnings. Life returns, an infinite cycle unfolds. You rise. I know resurrection is true because I watch you rise. Over and over and over again. You rise to love again. You rise to form new spaces of belonging. You rise to embrace blow your hair back grace. You rise to define identity for yourself. You rise to learn something you didn't know about someone you do. It can be tricky, so tricky, to know you're living resurrection when you're living it, but there is an eighth day to your story, a new garden scene. There is so much more to come. After Mary recognizes that this is her teacher, Jesus says, "Do not hold on to me, Mary, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and sisters and tell them, I am ascending to my God and to your God." And Mary goes to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord, suckers." Just kidding. She just says, "I have seen the Lord." And then she tells them what Jesus told her. And I love this ending now because Mary got it right the first time. She did see a gardener. It's a gardener of a new Eden. Whether you are sick or healthy, believe or doubt, wake up singing or crying, whether you have so much or so little, whether you are alive for decades or just one more year, you are in a garden where new life grows. Walks right out of tombs and reminds you to go and to tell your story and to make something new. Make something where there was nothing. Brighten up a dark morning and feel yourself coming back to life over and over again.